Hi guys, it's Holeh Pocket. Don't worry, you didn't click on the wrong video. This is my final vlog from my trip to Iran. Yeah, like I don't even know where to start. Hopefully you watched the first 3 vlogs because that showed going there and what we were doing while we were there. And then obviously I am at home recording this. Just like so much happened and I vlogged a lot, but I think I kind of did a poor job of explaining really what was going on, and the situation was kind of complicated. I'm gonna do kind of what I did in an earlier vlog where I was like explaining what was going on and cutting things in. Yeah, so the last thing you would have seen was my family having lunch at my cousin's house and playing with their birds, and my cousin's son was like playing guitar for us and stuff. They live a little bit like up in the mountains. It's kind of like a different area of Tehran, and so it was like cool to go up there. I'd never been to their house before. Their birds were so cute. We hadn't gotten to see them the first night with everyone else, so it's just nice to see them and spend some time with them. That night we just like went home. My aunt lives next door, so her daughter, my cousin, came over and we were just hanging out. Another one of my cousins called and told my dad to turn the news on, so we started watching the news. The first night, like the night that we got there, our cab driver told my dad that 2 people had died from coronavirus, which like obviously we already knew about coronavirus and what it was and everything going on in China, but before we had gotten on the plane it had not reached Iran. So it was kind of a shock when we first got there, but it was in a city a couple hours away. We were actually gonna go visit my great aunt in that city, Qom, but obviously we couldn't. All of the roads were closed. All the schools there were closed. Everything was shut down. You couldn't go to Qom. They like went in and got all the government officials that lived there and brought them out. It was kind of crazy, but we were like, it's fine. We're in Tehran. We'll be safe. We're far away. There's so many people here. What could go wrong? We got home that night. We're watching the news. They start talking about there's more cases that have been found out of coronavirus. There were people in Tehran where we were that were turning up with the virus. Their health commissioner was on the news like sweating, like mopping his brow, just like telling everyone don't worry, like it's gonna be okay, it's not a big deal, we have it under control. But my parents were just like really quiet watching all of this on the news. My sister and I were tired, so we went to bed. My mom woke my sister and I up the next morning and she said, we have to leave tonight. I was so upset. Obviously, like we went out there for my cousin's wedding. Her wedding hadn't happened yet. I broke down. I was crying. I was so upset. I really just like wanted to be there for my cousin's wedding. I was just like, I mean, I did not understand the gravity of the situation. I didn't understand how it was going to impact us. I didn't believe that everything was going to close or that like we were going to get stuck. I didn't believe really what was going on. I didn't understand. I was like trying to negotiate with my parents, like, can't we just wait until after the wedding that we came all the way out here for? Like, we'd only been there for like 4 days. So yeah, I was really upset, but my parents had stayed up the night before talking and looking at flights, and they spent a ton of money to get us on the first flight home that they could. Wow, I look so gross. I'm sorry. So everything here is gonna be shut down and all of the airlines are going to stop flying. We were supposed to be here for 7 more days. I'm really upset. I gave up a lot to come on this trip and now it's just all being taken away. The wedding is on Tuesday, which is like what we were here for, and like the only thing that I've had to look forward to for a really long time. And it just sucks. We don't know if we're gonna come home and be quarantined or what's gonna happen. I don't know, like they might not let us.
leave already or we might get stuck somewhere else. I guess that's it. I gotta pull myself together.
So I just had a couple hours left in Tehran and I was really sad. My sister and I went next door to our aunt's house and we just like hung out with our cousins. My mom had like a tiny bit of a cold, not coronavirus, but she just wasn't feeling great. She didn't want to get anybody else sick or risk anything, so we went over to my aunt's and hung out there. We like hadn't even really done much yet. Like I went dress shopping and we went to dinner at a couple of our cousins' houses. So we were super duper bummed. We had been so looking forward to like eating all this good food and going everywhere and the wedding and all this stuff. So my sister convinced my dad to get delivery from this restaurant called Shandi's, and they brought it over super fast because no one was going to restaurants already.
What?
What's going on here?
Oh, I'm just having some lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ari was bummed that she didn't get to go to any restaurants while we were here, so we got delivery.
Brought the restaurant to us.
It looks so delicious.
A couple of my cousins came over. One of those cousins owns a restaurant with her husband and they were open. So she was saying they usually do like 120 at breakfast and that day they had done 19. So that was kind of when it started to set in on me that like, this is real. They were closing schools, like the universities were closed. By the time we left that night, they had announced that they were gonna close all the schools. No one was going out anywhere. And like the whole time we were there, like there were a lot of people wearing like masks, like out in the street. At that dress shop we went into, every single girl working was wearing a mask. People in the airports were wearing masks. Like when we were at the mall and stuff, every worker was wearing a mask. You know, you think like, people are just like overreacting. It's crazy, but here we are. So we sat and talked with our cousins for a while and then we had to go pack.
Oh,
My phone's in the other room charged.
It was really hard to put away my dress for my cousin's wedding.
Salam.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh.
به خاطر جرم داره اینجا.
Is it good? What is it called? Strawberry? Oop. You wanna see? Is that you? Good job. One more.
We had to say goodbye. My dad doesn't like to cause a fuss when we go over there. Usually when we leave, everyone comes over and we have a big like family thing like we did on the first night. But obviously my mom was sick and it was kind of all rushed, and so we didn't really get to say goodbye to anybody except for my aunt and her family who was like there, and my uncle who lives down the street took us to the airport, so we got to see him. Even think about it. I'm just like, I'm sad still. It was really hard. Just like rushing everything, and I don't get to see any of these people except like every few years usually. I know I just got to go like in June, but I'm so lucky that we were able to get flights. I'm lucky that we had even a way to make that all happen to get out, but at the time it was really hard.
I'll put it in my lap. I'm just trying to give you a little more room. No, I don't need more room.
My uncle took us to the airport. This is the worst. Literally everything's going wrong.
Actually, we have a lot of leg room. That's pretty cool. Look at me.
They took away my scissors.
Look at me, 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 look at me. Yo, but look at me. Look at my feet.
My sister's putting her feet on the wall.
All the way up. Anybody have tissues handy?
So we had to switch to Qatar Airlines. That's where we're going.
And it's gonna be a blast.
Everyone has a mask on. It's concerning. My mom has like a sinus cold. You're not wearing one.
I don't have one.
If you had one, would you wear one?
No, because I have to eat. So if I have to take it off anyways, then what's even
Priorities.
the point? It's got a 2% death rate, 20% ICU rate. I've never been to the ICU. I could probably learn a lot there.
She's in med school. Anyway, at least no more scarf. We have candy. It is
Did you hear that?
nighttime. There are sick people on this plane. Sick people.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Raymer.
وبقية أفراد الطاقم نتمنى لكم إقامة رائعة في الدوحة.
That was where we were. Now we're here. And that's
Oh,
the
neat. I never knew what I look like. It's that little,
It's a little
nubbin.
glove right there.
It's a little nubbin. Zoom out. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, okay.
We're in the airport in Qatar, and we are late. This is so neat. Mom. So it is 6 o'clock in the morning. We have been at the airport for, well, only like 5 or 6 hours. 6 hours. And we have 2 more hours to go. We missed our first connection, so they rebooked us today. Instead of going to New York, we're going to go to Dallas. We're still going to get home at the same time. But this airport was really nice. So riding on the train is really cool. It's so pretty outside. Do it. Try harder. You're almost at the end. We're in trouble. How do you feel right now? I feel like stale bread. I look
You haven't even
worse.
stopped.
Just getting ready to board a 6-hour flight. 16. I don't even know where I am. Getting ready to board a 14-hour flight. Already feel like we've been traveling for 100 hours. Look, this is so beautiful. Is it really? It's literally cement. I feel like for an airport, it's really beautiful. Cement. What's the situation?
The situation is, look at all this room I got.
Situation. We got these like front section seats again.
And watch this,
Mom, how do you feel?
Excuse me, I'm going pretty good. Watch, just watch.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard Qatar Airways. As you find your safety outside your place now, try to
Good night. We found him! Just trying to get us on. We made it to LAX.
How many hours has it been since we left?
36.
That's only if you include the time zone. Oh, no it's not. If you include the time zone, 24 wait.
It's like Wednesday morning.
No, technically it's been almost, we left their house at 6 a.m. Sunday morning this time. And it's currently, oh, it's just Monday night. So
It's
just
Monday at
8:35.
8:35.
36-ish.
My bag came! It almost didn't come.
We got home and everything was fine when we got here. It turned out like while we were in the air, they canceled our original tickets to come home. All of the flights got canceled pretty much after hours. We were on one of the last flights out of Iran, and now, I mean, this is a week later. Now there are no flights going in or out from any airline. All of the borders are closed. Schools are closed. A lot of businesses are closing. My cousins said they just have to sit at home all day and wait. 8% of Iran's parliament, which is like 23 people, have tested positive for coronavirus, and this is just like government leaders. There's so many more cases. We got really lucky. I didn't understand at the time when everything was happening, but I am so thankful to my parents for having the foresight to get us out and get us home, and I'm lucky that they didn't give us any trouble coming in. Literally, customs only asked, have you been to China in the last 14 days? And that was it. So far, everyone in my family is fine. No one has any symptoms. All of my family in Iran is fine. We're very lucky. I know a lot of people have it a lot worse. I'm sitting here crying when really though I am so thankful and appreciative. So that was my trip to Iran. We had to cut it a week short. My cousin ended up canceling her wedding. It was a tough week. It was stressful. But everything's okay now. If you could just send all of your positive energy to the people in Iran. I mean, things are hard enough there as it is without all of this. It's unfortunate, but I don't know what else to say. I've never had a sit down vlog like this, but if you're still here, thanks for watching, and I promise my vlogs are not usually this depressing. If you want to see more of me, go check out my main channel. I do a lot of like fashion and lifestyle kind of videos. On this channel, I do travel and cheer videos because I also coach cheer. So if you like that, give me a follow. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.